Football coaches preach it, and business consultants say companies live or die by it. A positive attitude is that intangible quality that makes good times great and bad times bearable. Yet, as a state, we've long suffered from what can best be described as an inferiority complex. And many believe a book written during the height of the Depression has done more damage to how Oklahomans feel about themselves than the events it chronicled. Here's our Lacey Stockstill.
It has sold more than 14 million copies and even won the author a Pulitzer Prize. But for post-Depression Oklahomans, it was a story they were not happy to see told. We take a closer look at the lingering shadow left by Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath.
The Joads were merely characters in a book, but this fictional family caused a hostility that was very real in the hearts of many Oklahomans.
Congressman Lyle Boren actually gave a speech against it in the U.S. House. He said it was a black infernal creation of a twisted, distorted mind.
Jennifer Collins is an Oklahoma historian and says Grapes of Wrath author John Steinbeck was baffled by the state's criticism.
He said he didn't understand the criticism that he saw in the Joads, a beautiful people, a strong and resilient people, and he never intended the book as a smear on the state.
But Steinbeck's story, set in the midst of the Dust Bowl, made quite an impact on the nation. It took more than 40 years for the rest of America to think of Oklahoma as anything but dry and dusty.
Even 40 years after the book was published, that was still a prevailing image of Oklahoma.
But times are changing. A recent Zogby International poll found that the musical Oklahoma is now the thing most associated with the state.
It's the very best recognized song, I think, of any state song in the country. And I think it's a great first impression to leave with somebody.
Mike Sini is the Senior Vice President of Operations with the State Chamber and says another poll question had surprising results.
A third of the people didn't feel like they knew enough about Oklahoma to have any opinion at all.
Which poses an interesting question for today's Oklahoma. Is no opinion better than a bad opinion?
This gives us an opportunity to mold the impressions of people who may not have enough knowledge or information about Oklahoma.
And Sini says state agencies are working together to draw not only business and industry to the state,
Gatorade and Dell Computer,
but also tourists. And then they just let Oklahoma do the rest.
Oklahoma, Native America.
I heard one company executive in California say one time, I can't get my executives to move to Oklahoma, but once they're there, I can't get them out of Oklahoma. And that's what we have to do, is we have to continuously showcase who we are and what we are.
And as our state enters into its second century, hopes are that the negative impressions left by the Dust Bowl and the Grapes of Wrath will only fade away into history.
So, Lacey, I have to ask, if the musical Oklahoma was the thing most people associated with the state, what came in next?
Well, Rob, the Oklahoma City bombing came in second, falling just 1 percentage point behind the Broadway musical. Oil and natural gas was third, with Oklahoma college football a close fourth.